Amazon với mức giá cực kỳ ưu đãi như đăng ký brand với USBTO, từ thêm thêm, từ trên Scout, Logistics và Warehouse. Xem hình thông tin chi tiết dưới phần mô tả nhé.
What's up, guys? This is Brett from FBA Excel, and in this video we're going to be going over the search query commander tool. I've got it open. We're going to be going over how to download the various reports and quickly sync them to the tool so you can start tracking your search query performance data. It's pretty consistent with if you're used to how the keyword dominator reports work. Now I do have kind of the what I would say the generic configuration for getting started with your search query commander toggled right now. You can see on the settings tab there's a report hub here. You've got a section up here with ASINs. This is more for like the keyword research portion of keyword dominator. There'll be another kind of quick start video if you want to learn how to build those build a target keyword list from your competitors, and you can also kind of lace in some of this other data. But we're using the same data hub for the search query commander tool just to kind of be able to work back and forth between the tools. And I've got the default reports toggled right now that you would want to potentially start with. You don't have to, like all of these Amazon-centric data sources are optional, but I want to go over how to download each one by one in this video. There's also a quick start guide here which kind of breaks it out into the keyword research portion and then also the search query commander portion. So this quick start video you're watching is going to be this one here. And then the step-by-step training, you can use this as a reference for the different downloads. If you want screenshots, you can see there's kind of quick links to a screenshot version of kind of what this video is covering. After you do authorize your sheet and you get the menus displayed up here, and that's actually covered in the training guide. The very first section of the training guide will show you how to do that. You can just bounce down through. You do need to make sure you've got your Google Sheets set to English, so that's what this walks you through, and then the authorization walks you through this steps, and then you get the menus. So that's kind of step one. And then step two is after you do authorize and get the menus displayed, you do need to kind of understand what's going on in your Google Drive account. So in your Google Drive account, subfolders will automatically be created in the FBA Excel Tools Keyword Dominator kind of subdirectory. So that directory gets automatically created. Then you have keyword sources new and then keyword sources imported. They look identical. So if you open them up, that's what that one looks like, and the imported looks the same. So basically the idea is you're gonna save any of the newly downloaded data that you haven't imported into Search Query Commander yet in the new folder structure, okay? And then if you do have an option called File Import Move Mode toggled on, as you bring in the data automatically, it's gonna move the files from the new folder over to this imported folder and just drop them in the same directory there. All right, so let's get started. What we're gonna do is just kind of from scratch. I've got a niche here. Kids Grill Set is kind of the product. You do want to, if you're gonna bring in the Cerebro data as part of the search query performance, kind of have 10 ASINs in mind. I'd like to put my ASIN here in case you do want to use the keyword dominator aspect of this tool and do some research there with keywords. But in this case, you can pretty much just list out the top 10 ASINs that you want, as well as any of the other kind of data sources. So you can see here any of the asterisk ones I have selected. This video is going to be kind of in two phases too. I'm going to show you kind of the manual way to download your weekly data, and then we've got a Chrome extension. So if you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be like some bookmark quick links at the bottom or in the description that you can hop to the different sections. But the latter half of this video will cover the Chrome extension method, which is a lot more efficient. But you can still get by with definitely the manual downloads. It's not bad at all. But anyway, here's my configuration. You can see all the data sources I have selected, and it's going to be two steps. We're going to download the data, and then we're going to come back in and import the data with just one button. So once you have the sources selected you want, once you have your 10 ASINs there, you don't really need these 10 ASINs unless you're importing the Cerebro data. So if you do have this toggled off for the search query performance, you can actually skip kind of, figuring those out. And the way I figured those out is I just went up here. You can use this choose top 10 ASINs button from the keyword research portion of Keyword Dominator. That's going to take you to an Amazon search page. And actually see this. This is a new account. This little button up here, pop-ups were blocked. You have to click on this and click allow. So if none of the pop-ups show up, that's probably what's going on with yours. I'm kind of glad that happened. So I'm going to say always allow, hit done, and then I'm actually just going to come up and click it again, and it should open me up now to an Amazon page. You can see it put in kids grill set. If you were in a different market than the US, you would have obviously wanted to change that here. This is covered kind of in the authorization in the step-by-step guide, but that would take you to the correct Amazon page. And then all I did now is I've got Helium 10. You can use Jungle Scout, Zon Guru, whatever. But I've got Helium 10 here, and I would just click on X-Ray, and then I like to turn off the sponsor listings like that. I like to sort by revenue. And then I like to go through and look at the images and the price, make sure kind of the buyer intent's the same as my product. And then you're just picking the top 10 that look, highly relevant to what you're selling. Or if you're just doing a general niche product research, you can pick just kind of the top 10. And that's how I determine my list here. Okay. And then for these other ones, now that I'm ready to download the data, I can just come up here and click download new data. It's going to open me up to a separate tab depending on which data sources I have selected. So I'm just going to click download new data, and you're going to see you do want to be already logged in, and this little prompt kind of reminds you to like Helium 10 if you want to download rank files, Seller Central if you're downloading a bunch of Amazon stuff. So just make sure you open a tab and kind of log into those first, and then you'll come up and just hit yes. All right, so you can pretty much go in any order. I'm just going to start here. So for brand analytics, I actually like to use the ASIN grabber and just grab a bunch of ASINs and search that way. So Helium 10, you just come back to kind of a search results page for a main keyword. I still had this tab open from when I picked kind of the top 10 ASINs. I'm just going to hit ASIN grabber and let this load. All right, and then I'll just select all, export CSV. You can only do 100, so I'm just going to, for the sake of this video, pick the top 100, but you could potentially sort it if you wanted. So I'm just going to copy like that. I'm going to go back to brand analytics and search my 10 ASINs here. For weekly, I'm going to go ahead and pick the most recent week and paste that in again, hit refine results. All right, so you can see that's kind of the brand analytics data that I've got. You got multiple pages worth here. I'm just going to hit generate download and simple view. All right, so when that downloads, just click on the link there and you'll get a file. Now, one thing you can do here, since this is a new kind of Chrome profile I have, I'm going to show you a little trick. So if you go into Chrome, go to settings, downloads, and ask where to save each file, go ahead and click that. All right, now I'm gonna actually go back and click download again, and you'll get a prompt here. So what I like to do is go ahead and download the drive for desktop, and you can see I've got my drive account right here. And you can actually create a shortcut link as well. Let's see, keyword dominate. So I'm just going through my directory there that I showed you at the start of this video, and my keyword sources new folder. This is potentially the one you would want to put kind of in a favorites there. So you just got a single click. And then since this is a brand analytics file, I would just double click on this and you could see I already got a file saved there. So you just name it BA, and that was the name code that we went over on the settings tab for brand analytics. Hit save, and then it saves it automatically right to the correct folder. So that's kind of the most seamless way to save the files. So I'm actually not going to save it, but if you want to download Drive for desktop, I'll put a link up over this video that you can download that. The other option obviously is if you just download them here and you have like a Google Drive browser window open, you can drag the files typically down to the correct folder, and then you got to rename it, but it's a little more cumbersome than using that Drive for desktop app. All right, so that's the brand analytics file. And again, all of these are covered step by step. If you come into here and go into Search Query Commander, we've got all the different data sources. So brand analytics is the one I just went over. You would come down here, it's got a little library, and then it walks you through step by step how to do things. And you can see it's exactly what I just did. So anyway, that is there. So I'm just going to go down through and close these tabs out as I complete them. So we did brand analytics. The next one is our search query weekly files. So you do need to be in the ASIN view. It should automatically take you there, but in case it doesn't, just there's a little tab there, brand view versus ASIN view. We care more about the ASIN view because that gives us a lot more insights into actual child ASINs. So you're going to pick your child ASIN from the list here, and reporting range, do weekly. That's going to give you the most data. And then you would go through and on your initial import, go down through and just download as many of these as you want to start with. And then just on a weekly basis, you'd obviously just come in and grab one at a time. The Chrome extension I'm going to go over in the latter half of this video can automatically download all of these at once. It's a lot more efficient. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to do one of these files. So just download the most recent, hit apply. All right, and then you'll literally just click generate download and generate download. It's going to take you right back to the same kind of download manager we were just at, and you'll just wait for that file to download. The file we're dealing with right here is this manual weekly file, and you can see we do SQR underscore the ASIN and then the week number, which was 12. And that's just so you can kind of keep things organized in your folder and differentiated from some of the other data sources that we have, just because we do have so many that you can import into here. All right, so I'm going to hop back here and just refresh it. And I'm going to go ahead and download it now. And since we have that Save As button enabled in our Chrome browser, it's just going to pop up a Save As window here. And we can go back to our shortcut. And then this is a Amazon file. And you can see I've already got a bunch of these saved. So you would just do SQR underscore, then the ASIN, and then underscore, and then whatever, 14, or I'm sorry, 12 in this case. Okay. So that's pretty much that. If you've already got one of them saved, you can always just click on this and then just delete kind of the last number to get the other weeks. So if I want to do 11, it would be like that. But again, I've already got kind of some demo files saved, so I'm not going to go through the process of doing each one of these. And now we're on to the rank data, which you would have already needed to kind of set this up in Helium 10. If you are using another SAS tool for the rank tracking, you can hop into the guide here, go down to rank tracking, and there's a template here you can download that's just kind of an example file, and you can populate your own data into this template and save it with the same convention I'm showing you in this video, and it'll work just the same. And if you are watching this when we have the ranks keyword mode enabled, you'll just as easily be able to toggle this option on, and you can use our internal keyword rank tracking service. For now, I'm just going over the Helium 10 version. Again, you would have already needed to kind of set this up. It's super easy on Helium 10. Just click add a new product, add your ASIN, add your keyword list, wait a couple days, and you'll start having the data populate. Keyword Dominator and Search Query Commander both use the historical file. So to download that, you just click kind of on the row here, hit export, and do history. Now, you do have a limit of kind of the total rows we manage within one Search Query Commander file as far as the rank data. So if you have like the boosted mode on, that will potentially limit kind of your results, and you might want to tighten this date range up. Otherwise, you could probably use, say, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks worth. You'll just want to kind of get the most recent date and back it up for the start date there accordingly. So if you do want to test the max range, you can kind of increase this. This is more just for a performance parameter. So right now it's going to cut everything off after 10,000 rows worth of data. So typically most sellers, 30 days worth is going to be around that number if you're tracking quite a few keywords and your boosted mode or whatever Helium 10 has is not enabled. But you can always just do like the most recent 5 days, for example, as well. And in that case, you would just do something like this, and then you could back it up to that, hit export, and it's going to ask you where to save it. This one goes in the other folder. So I'm just going to come down here to our shortcut we created, go to the other. You can see I've already got one saved. It's KW underscore, then your ASIN. All right, so then you would just save that. And again, all of these are covered here as well. You can just click on that, drops you down to rank tracking, and then it goes through kind of how to do that. All right, pretty simple. So after you have those, and you can actually import multiple rank files into one Search Query Commander copy at one time. That functionality works with most reports. So if you want to, for example, do kind of a product group or kind of a parentage of multiple child ASINs, you could download the different rank files for those, put them in the other folder. That's why we've got the convention there of the keyword underscore ASIN. You just change the ASIN, and that will enable you to kind of append all that data into one copy. All right, so that's a rank file. Next is the Cerebro file. You can see it pre-populates our ASINs for us. So we'll just go ahead and click on get keywords unless the data automatically populates. Looks like it did. So in this case, I will just set a search volume filter a little bit more, and that's good enough. So the trick here, we get a lot of users clicking this export button for the word frequency. You want to use this button here and save it as a CSV. All right, and then this file is going to go in our Helium 10 folder. So click on that. You can see CR, I've already got it saved. Then you just save that. All right, and we get out of that. And now we're on to our add files. So we toggled on search term impression share, advertised products, search term report, and brand analytics we already got. So it's basically these three. And they're all downloaded from kind of this central advertising report hub within your campaign manager. So if you don't know how to get to this or it doesn't for some reason open you up automatically, it's just down here within campaign manager and then sponsored ads reports. All right, so to download each one of these, you're just going to go create report for the advertised products, or actually let's do search term report first. So you're going to pick summary in every case. So don't accidentally pick daily. All of these are going to be summary reports. As far as the download parameters for the search term report, it's basically just what you're seeing here. I'm going to pretend I want to download the last 30, and you would just click on run report. And then I'm just going to do all of these kind of at once. So I'm going to come back, create another report, change this to impression share right here, and keep it summary, last 30 days, run report. And then the other one is our advertised products. So advertised product, summary, last 30 days. Once they're created, you can just come back here and you'll download them from this central location here. Once you have them established too, if you don't want to actually change the date ranges, you can come over here and just click on run report, and you don't have to actually set them up again as long as you're comfortable with kind of the same date spans. It's a rolling range, so it'll give you newer data. But anyway, the download button's right here. You're just going to click on this and go to your folder. So keyword sources, new, Amazon. All right, so we've got an advertised products. We've got a search term. That's the search term file. This is the advertised products file. And then the impression share file is actually a CSV file. So you'll see when I come here, Amazon, search term impression is a CSV file. So that's SI is the code there. You just name it SI, hit save, and then you're good to go. So you've pretty much got all the reports you need. Just to kind of go over a summary of all the ones we downloaded. If I go into other, that's where our rank files are. If I go into Helium 10, that's where our Cerebro file is. And if I go into Amazon, that's where we've got all of our weekly files that we're going to import. That's where we got our impression share, brand analytics, advertised products, and search term report. These two are actually our Chrome extension files. So I'm going to cover that here as kind of a phase 2 of this setup video. To import the data, once you have them saved in your Google Drive, it's as easy as making sure you've still got the right tick boxes selected, because it's only going to import the data for the check boxes you have, and that just allows you to kind of toggle on and off different sources. If you want to come back, say, in a week and only import or update one section, you can do that. But anyway, now I'm ready to import the data and kind of set everything up. So I'm just going to come up here, click import data, and you'll get a prompt, but I'm going to hit yes and just let the data start importing. One key thing I wanted to mention is this source here, the search query file. This is actually for a keyword research aspect of Keyword Dominator. So it's not for Search Query Commander. Don't accidentally toggle that checkbox on. You're just going to want to manage the Search Query Commander kind of data sources down here in this section. So that's pretty important consideration. You can see now our files are starting to import. That's going to all just kind of dump into the back end of the tool. So you don't really need to kind of know where a lot of this data is. It's just going to kind of live there. And then as you update it on an ongoing basis throughout the month, it'll automatically get replaced and everything should kind of stay in sync and updated. So one other key point is if you did have this file import move mode toggled on, as I'm importing it, you would get a bit of a different status update here. It would say the file is imported correctly and moved to your imported folder. And again, that just helps you keep that new folder structure clean and ready for the next kind of import that you want to do. All right, so once all of that data comes in, you will get a prompt here. I'm going to hit OK, and you can see how kind of the status of everything looks. You've got a confirmation prompt. And then down here, since you are importing quite a few files at once, it looks a bit different. But you can always expand these sections to get a little more insight on how the import worked. And if you do get any sort of error, you can always reach out to support or reference the guide. There'll be some troubleshooting stuff in there. Typically, if it's related to not having the correct file name or putting it in the right new folder, a lot of users will accidentally put it in the imported folder when they're first getting started. Now, all you need to do in order to finalize the search query commander is hop actually over to the weekly view. And you should see some data start to import here, but it's not completely built out yet. You do have to click this sync button, and that's going to update and kind of tie everything together for all the different data sources that we just imported. So I'm going to just click on this button here. So once you get this prompt, so I'm going to hit OK. You'll see all the formatting is going to kind of correct itself. And by default, the table is sorted. So you can always kind of get back to the default sort by clicking this kind of remove filter button. You can see by default it's sorted by the search query, then the year, then the week. And that just gives you kind of a cascading insight from week to week how the different search queries are performing. There's different indicators. If you expand some of these plus buttons here at the top, just scrolling over briefly, you've got your click-through rates, conversion rates for the market and your ASIN, and then the difference between the two. So if they're blue and green, that's good. That means you're beating the market's conversion rate and then beating the market's, click-through rate and then beating the market's conversion rate. And depending on kind of that scenario, as well as a few other factors, we've got some recommendations and kind of a suggested action column. You can also pick from these kind of presets. So you basically just can pick them and it's going to kind of pre-filter some of the columns. So you hit yes. So this is showing us basically anything with a higher conversion rate and higher click-through rate than the market, and some recommended actions to scale those would just be some of these. So you can read through those. It's got a similar functionality for the different filters that you see here, so you can mess with that. As far as some of the advanced insights, that's going to be in this section here. So just scrolling over, and you can see as you scroll down, it's basically aggregated our advertising data and telling us, at least for sponsored products, which targeting types we're going after for each search query. So you can see we've got active exact match, phrase match, broad match. Here's our PPC impression share and impression rank, which is different than your actual funnel impression share. So keep an eye out there. And again, you can hover over these headers to get an idea or definition of each one. As far as the rank data, that gives you from your Helium 10, the trend and sponsored and current organic rank. Now, these are quite a bit more advanced sections. The top 10 brand analytics you actually won't have unless you're using our Chrome extension. The brand analytics, though, you will be able to see as far as where you're stacking up as far as the child ASIN with relation to the top 3 most clicked ASINs for that search query. So you can see we're above 4 for these. You can easily filter here if you just want to see the ones that you're in the top 3 for, and you can get an idea of some of the performance metrics there as well. And then in orange here, these are going to be Helium 10 related. The daily cost to rank, that's a bit more of an advanced sequence. You can kind of read about it, but it's basically taken into account if you're running ads and you have a CPC. It's taken into account the market conversion rates. So, how the market is converting versus a helium-10 number. I think they call it I think it's Cerebro Product Rating, CPR maybe. So we take a look at that. We take a look at how many purchases for your search query performance you're making right now. And then again, based on your CPCs, figure out a daily cost in order to rank, assuming you can perform at least at the market conversion rate. So that's what that column is. You've got obviously title density, search volume, that's coming from Helium 10. You've got all your, you've got your rates, which are the clicks divided by the search query volume. So in my opinion, these aren't as helpful as like your click-through rate conversion rates, but those are divided basically by the search query volume here in column R. And then one thing I didn't actually touch on, if you do want to put multiple child ASINs in one search query commander file, you can see this is kind of where that custom group or parent ASIN would show up. But we kind of skipped a step. You would have needed to come down here on the settings tab and actually map the child ASIN list to the kind of common either parent ASIN, or you can use a custom group name or however you want to do it. And then essentially when we click this, that's the way you could update it if you forgot. But you click this, it's going to pull in that new kind of mapped data, and then this column here would be populated with the parent ASIN. You could filter by it at that point. There's a couple other places in the system that value can be utilized, but you get the picture. It's basically just some columns off here to the right, and you're kind of just aggregating all of the data all in one place. You've got a common kind of filter you can use for this upper header to slice and dice things however you want. And then you've got some dynamic views as well down here. This first one is kind of a visual tool for weekly metrics over time, as well as kind of a hit list of the search query recommendations. You can actually click into these and kind of hover over if you have an outlier and you want to look at what it is, but it's more just used to kind of get a visual representation of kind of all the search queries at once and kind of where they fit within the quadrants. The funnel metrics here, you've got your ASIN data along the top and you got the market data along the bottom. And then these two graphical displays are more just again for your search funnel metrics over time. And then finally down here, you can actually map, if you have initiatives that you're trying to improve certain search queries, you can fill this out with the ASIN, with the date. So and then a note, so top of search campaign, and you'll see that it shows up here in your graph. So that's just a way you can kind of keep track of things. You can add your additional notes here and comments that won't show up in the graph, but it's just kind of helpful over time, and that just kind of goes down to the bottom. So that's that one. And then my favorite view is actually this one here. So let me make this a little smaller. So you can see you've got your rank data alongside your PPC data alongside your search query data. It's going to be default sorted by purchases. And then you've got these filters up here that if you just want to kind of segment and look at different sections of the data, you can. This is one other area where that parent ASIN group filter shows up. But since we don't have it mapped, it's not going to need data in there. But you could just show, say you had multiple child ASINs, you could show that. If you get any weird stuff like here, sometimes Google caches it right away for some reason. You got to kind of click on the tab and then hop back, and then after that it's fine. But let's say you just wanted to look at a few different weeks, you could easily clear that, toggle and check the weeks you want, hit OK, and it's going to update this view just based on your criteria selections there. So anyway, this view may look different when you're watching this video. We're definitely going to be expanding kind of on the capabilities of it. But yeah, it's more just kind of a summary version of your weekly, and you can expand each total section to look at the weekly count as well, just by clicking those little plus buttons, and you can get an idea, over time how your data is changing. So pretty powerful stuff. All right, so to show you how to use the Chrome extension, you follow the exact same process we covered before to kind of onboard your data, and if you want to download all these supplemental data sources, you could do that as well in this same kind of sequence. Now I've already got the data in here, so I'm not going to download these ones we've already done. But the process is identical. The only exception is we're not using this manual option for the weekly data. We're instead going to use the Chrome extension with, we're also going to download the details ASIN report. So it's kind of two you can get right now. With the Chrome extension, we'll have a lot more coming out, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of deselect these. It'll kind of illustrate too how you can toggle these on and off and bring in data however you want. You don't have to kind of bring things in bulk if you don't want. You can kind of do one at a time. Anyway, what we're going to do now is just check these here, okay? And you do want to be logged into Amazon. You can actually be logged in wherever you want, at any page, as long as you're logged into your Seller Central. You're going to come up and activate the Chrome extension, and it'll ask you to kind of log in. I've already done that. Just click on the menu up here, and you're going to click on, first we'll download our weekly file. So you just hit this button here, pick your market. I'm going to pick US, and I'm going to pick just a few weeks here. The nice thing about this is you can download multiple at once. And since I only have one ASIN here, I'm just going to pop that in. If you had multiple, you could just hit enter and put a list in. And the application here would probably be, if you had kind of a product group or multiple child ASINs you wanted to put in one parent ASIN copy of Search Query Commander, you could put the list there, and a pinned all puts everything all in one file. That's what you would want to do if you had multiple ASINs and you were wanting to put them all in one Search Query Commander file. Separate by ASIN, that's going to split them out, one ASIN per file. So since I only have one ASIN here, I could probably do either or, and it's going to be the identical. So I'm just going to do separate by ASIN, and I've got that. You just hit download files and just give it a second here. It's going to spit out a output file. We're going to save that to our Amazon folder just like we did the weekly reports, and then it just becomes the exact same process of importing the data and then syncing the Search Query Commander, and then you're good to go. All right, so there you go, and we're going to go save that now to our folder. It goes in our Amazon folder, and you can see I've already got these saved. So it's going to show SQR simple, then weekly, because that's the period that we have. That's kind of, it's going to automatically name it. You don't need to change anything. It knows this convention. As long as it's got this SQR simple underscore at the beginning, then you're good to go. So you'll just hit save on that. And then for the details, you're just going to copy the same ASIN, come up here, go to Search Query Details. It looks identical, so I'm just going to do US, put my ASIN in there, select my weeks. Now for this, it's going to be a lot more data, so you may only want to look at kind of the most recent week, especially if you've got an operating procedure to use Search Query Commander on a weekly basis. You'd want to just grab kind of the most relevant data there as far as the weeks are concerned. So I'm just going to grab the first week. I'm going to do the same type of file here. Again, because I've only got one ASIN, either file type would work. So I'm just going to hit download files. And what this is getting us is the top 10 ASINs for every search query. It's getting our clicks data and impressions data for that. So we're able to kind of correlate that versus our brand analytics data, which is the top 3, and really get an idea, hey, are we in the top 10 for here? Are we even farther than the top 10? It'll help us prioritize our search queries in case we want to target them in PPC or try to index and rank better for them. We can kind of work with that. So. All right, so that after that one downloads, it's going to be the exact same process of saving. So I'm just going to go up to Amazon, and you can see I've already got my SQR details file there. You would just hit save. Now that we've got those 2 files saved, it's going to be as easy as clicking import data. Again, they're still checked. If they're not checked, it's not going to bring the data in. Could have also ticked file import move mode if we wanted to move those 2 files over to our import folder. Exact same way all of these keyword sources work. They all work the same. So I'm going to hit yes. All right, you get the prompt, hit OK, and you should see the data came in. All right, and then when you come over to your weekly view here, you're going to see the exact same kind of configuration that we did when we imported our Search Query Weekly manual files before we click the sync button. So to finish this off, all you do is click the sync button, hit yes. All right, and then after that sync operation is done, you're basically ready to go. And the nice thing now is you have your top 10 brand analytics data populated. So that was from the search query details report that we exported from the Chrome extension. You can see it's only showing up for the week 10 because we only exported that 1 week's worth. Now that we have that, we can easily filter for kind of our top 10 position based on the top 10 most clicked ASINs for each search query and kind of correlate that to our brand analytics data as well as all the other columns. So it's a lot of data, a lot of different operations that you could potentially deploy. We will have some more preset filters here that you can use to kind of quickly navigate around and accomplish some more repetitive tasks that are good use cases for this tool. So anyway, I hope this training and quick start video helps you kind of get started. I definitely check out the user guide. Make sure you refer to that as well as this video. That's always going to have our most updated kind of UI screenshots and things where the video training may be a little bit behind, but again, you can always hover over the different header options and feel free to reach out to support if you have any questions at all. If you get stuck at all, don't get frustrated. Definitely just reach out. We can hop on a call and help you out. So I appreciate it, guys. See you on the next training. Cheers.
Anh chị đang bán hàng trên Amazon. Skyrock cung cấp các dịch vụ dành cho các nhà bán hàng trên Amazon với mức giá cực kỳ ưu đãi như đăng ký brand với USBTO, từ thêm, từ cho Scout, logistics và warehouse. Xem hình thông tin chi tiết dưới phần mô tả nhé.